Hello, BookTube. This is Weekly Reads. My reading week has been one of the weekend and the work week. I had a fantastic reading weekend and a rather crappy work week of reading. So let's get going. So I started my weekend my entire weekend was devoted to manga. So on Saturday, I read 6 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami. This is volume 6, volume 7, volume 8, volume 9, volume 10, and volume 11. So, Jujutsu Kaisen is a manga series set in contemporary Japan. It's about a young man named Yuji Itadori who was a member of his school's occult club. They found a cursed object, a finger belonging to the evil sorcerer Sukuna. This finger attracted the attention of a cursed spirit, a monster born out of negative human emotions and actions. Megumi, a young Jujutsu sorcerer, a person with superpowers, magical abilities, dedicated to fighting cursed spirits, engages the cursed spirit. Yuji helps Megumi and ends up consuming the cursed object, the rotten finger of Sukuna. This allows Sukuna to temporarily possess Yuji and gives Yuji a certain amount of superpowers, super strength, endurance, speed, that allows him to help defeat the cursed spirit, but then he attacks Megumi, which forces Megumi's teacher Gojo to fight Sukuna and defeat him. When Yuji comes to, he has been captured by the Jujutsu sorcerers and he is slated to be executed. However, it is argued that since he can survive consuming that rotten finger of Sukuna's, then he could probably consume the other rotten fingers of Sukuna. And once all of the rotten fingers of Sukuna have been collected in Yuji's belly, then it would be time to kill him. So that's what they do. So Yuji is, until his execution, he's enrolled in the Tokyo branch of Jujutsu High, a school for young Jujutsu sorcerers, where he is joined by Megumi and a young woman named Nobara. And they go on various missions. So, with Volume 6, the Tokyo school is hosting the Kyoto school in a goodwill event. The principal of the Kyoto school has directed his students to attempt to assassinate Yuji during the competition. However, the resulting fight with the Tokyo school does not go in Kyoto's favor. However, the antagonists of the series so far, a group of cursed spirits led by a curse user, a corrupt Jujutsu sorcerer named Gege, attack the proceedings. which results in a number of students fighting the cursed spirit Hanami in some really amazing fights. While this is going on, the cover model for this volume, Mahito, manages to steal a number of Sukuna's fingers that the sorcerers have managed to collect, as well as a few other cursed objects, things that have been imbued with cursed energy. So this leads to the next arc, in which Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara investigate a series of mysterious deaths caused by a cursed spirit. While they are investigating, they are accosted by two mysterious beings who end up coming to conflict with Yuji and Nobara, while Megumi fights the cursed spirit. And that's an awesome arc as well. And then the series takes a bit of a break and goes into sort of like a flashback arc to when Gojo and Geto were students about 10 years previously. Or, yeah, it's roughly about 10 years previously, when the two are directed to escort a young woman to an important event in her life, while a group of religious fanatics seek to prevent that from happening. And this sort of is the beginning of Geto's turn to evil. And then in the next big arc, the Shibuya incident sees the main antagonist, Geto, and his cohort of cursed spirits begin a multi-pronged attack on the sorcerers by attacking the Shibuya district of Tokyo with a series of domains. And it's amazing. I had a blast with these 6 volumes. They were just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I really enjoyed it. And it's like there. And oh yeah, I want to show you the principal of the Kyoto school. He is a hoot. Because you would not suspect somebody, a member of the conservative faction of the Jujutsu Society, to basically be a rock star. How would you? Yeah, it was just, it was wonderful. And here's Yuji and Todo, who is a member of the Kyoto school. He is a hoot. He is just completely off his rocker, but brilliant at the same time. So it was just like, that was fun. And I just, yeah, it was wonderful. Let me see if I can, some more. And it's so wonderful. The artwork, all of it, it's amazing. And there's one I want to show before I move on. Oh yeah, and before the Shibuya incident, they realize that there's a traitor amongst them. And there's a short little arc where the traitor kind of turns on Geto and the cursed spirits, and that is an amazing little bit. Even if he does end up losing, but it's still quite wonderful. There's that. And there's this one scene I really wanted to show you. Yeah. See if I can find it. And I'm not finding it. Oh yeah. That it's wonderful. Just wonderful. So then on Sunday, I read 6 volumes of My Hero Academia by Kohei Horikoshi. This is volume 12, 13, 14, 15. I love that cover. 16. And this one's really cool too. And 17. And so, My Hero Academia is a series inspired by American superhero comics. It's a world in the far future in which the vast majority of humans have developed quirks, superpowers. A few of these superpowered humans have become superheroes, and none are. But Izuku Midoriya, the main protagonist, is quirkless. He idolizes superheroes, especially All Might, the greatest hero in Japan. And one day, when one of his bullies, his school bullies, Bakugo, is attacked by a villain, nobody does anything but Izuku. Even though he is quirkless, he has no powers. He has no chance. But his action inspires All Might, who had previously met with Izuku, to act. And also that Izuku is worthy of possessing All Might's quirk, one for all, which can be passed down via consuming a strand of hair. So Izuku is then able to join UA, the premier superhero school in Japan, alongside Bakugo, his longtime bully. And they begin to study how to become professional heroes. All Might is a symbol of peace. For as long as he's been an active hero, the world has been safe. But All Might's power is waning, and the villains are beginning to take advantage of that, namely the League of Villains. And so Izuku and his classmates are going to have a very hard time of it, a lot harder than previous generations of heroes or cohort or classes of heroes. So volume 12 starts a new arc. It sees the class begin to reach for their provisional hero licenses. And of the class, everyone gets their licenses except for Bakugo and Shoto, another major classmate. The next arc sees the next arc has so the bulk of these 6 volumes features Izuku being taken on as a work study intern by All Might's former sidekick Sornadai, alongside the young hero Lemillion, who is an absolute hoot. He is a cover model for volume 17. So Sornadai is researching a remnant of a Yakuza gang led by Chisaki, a villain called Overhaul. And so he eventually determines what Overhaul's plan is and gathers enough evidence to move. So Sornadai calls in a number of other heroes to aid him in taking down Overhaul and his Yakuza gang in an amazing arc. It is amazing. I had a blast with these volumes. It was just so much fun. I loved how Izuku started to learn how to kind of switch things up. Izuku doesn't quite know how to use all for one. So, no, one for all. There's a super villain called One for All, so sometimes it's hard to keep it straight. So, One for All is the heroic version of the quirk, and then All for One is the villainous version. But I really enjoy how Izuku really starts to work on his sort of compensating for some of his issues. And I also really love how he and even Bakugo are the kind of the core of this group, and how really with Izuku, he uses his intelligence, his knowledge of superheroes and quirks to really help him in his heroics. It is wonderful. Let me see here if I can find some, and then Bakugo, who he's a hoot. Oh, I love that cover. Just I had a blast with these volumes. And that just wonderful. And then there's a fight after the provisional license exam, where Bakugo and Izuku get into a fight, and that was just really amazing fight scene. Let me see here. There's that. And the weird thing about My Hero Academia is it does take me a bit more time to read compared to some other manga series. But I love it. It's just so much fun. Here's another. So yeah, it was a blast. Um, and there's the first introduction of Mirio Lemillion. He has the ability to kind of face through, so he's sort of like Kitty Pryde, but he has some uh, drawbacks to his abilities. I mean, he just wallops Class 1A. Um, and so here's Overhaul confronting Shigaraki, the current leader of the gang of villains, or League of Villains. Yeah, and so there's Sarnadai and Izuku pulling a All Might face. Yeah. And then there's here. Just I love Izuku's character. It's wonderfully realized. Oh, I wanted to show some of Kirishima. Let me see here. Because he has some wonderful moments in this arc. Yeah. There's that. Just so much fun. And also, I mean, like, there's a two-part where Kirishima goes into his backstory, and it is wonderful. And I want to show you some two scenes. So, like Lemillion Mirio, he has some wonderful moments in this arc. And he is an awesome character. And then there's a moment where Izuku kind of comes in. Yeah, there's that. And then that. And the build up to the fight between Izuku and Chisaki is really great. Just like, yeah. So anyway, I need to stop. Otherwise, I'm going to be here all night talking about My Hero Academia. So anyway, so wonderful reading weekend. Absolutely wonderful reading weekend. But now we get to the bails. So I started with Into by North Morgan. This is a gay novel that came out in 2018. It's about a 33-year-old gay man named Conrad who flees London for Los Angeles after what seems to him to have been a traumatic breakup. Conrad then gets back into the gay scene, even though he really doesn't want to, and he spends as much of this novel that I stomached, which wasn't much, wallowing in self-pity, self-loathing, and self-destructiveness. And I had forgotten how much I really did not like this book. Just, no. It's a steaming pile of poo. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, I struggled to get into Bad Gays by Hugh Lemmy and Ben Miller. So this is a collection of mini biographies of a number of men and one woman who Lemmy and Miller call Bad Gays. Bad Gays is also the title of their podcast, in which they give brief biographies of men and women and who they see as being bad gays. Like I said on yesterday, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this book. It came out a little more than a year ago, and I had spent months trying to talk myself out of buying this book, of circling it until I don't know what I was thinking late last year that I ultimately did decide to buy it, because this book just did not do it for me at all. And I don't quite know how to really express why this book just does not work for me. I think it's in part that what Lemmy and Miller are trying to do is mix popular history with more academic history. And it doesn't work. They also have some of their theoretical underpinnings it's never set right with me. And also what passes for mini biographies, just they're thumbnail sketches. It just, you kind of want more depth than just like about 20-30 page quips. It's just didn't work at all for me. And then I I had to go at Texaco by Patrick Chamoiseau. So this is a novel that came out about 30 years ago. It's set in Martinique, and it's about a slum or a shantytown on the outskirts of the capital of Martinique, Fort-de-France. It's about an elderly woman who is telling her family history and the history of her community to a urban planner who has been sent in to determine how to modernize the area. And it didn't do anything for me. I tried. I didn't connect with the narrative. I just wasn't interested. So I'm bailing on it. And on the one level, I'm a bit disappointed, because Texaco is one of those books that I have wanted to read for a very long time. About 15 or more years ago, I read an article on Texaco that made the novel seem really interesting. But as has happened quite a lot with me recently. A number of books that I have wanted to read for a very long time just aren't doing it for me, and that's upsetting. Although, I guess I really shouldn't let it get to me. I should go, like, I tried it, it didn't work, it's okay. But, yeah. Anyway, so this coming reading week. So my original plan was, had I have either really gotten on with the book or decided to press on, I would have continued Texaco through the afternoon of the weekend and maybe into the next work week. But since I'm not, my plans are kind of up in the air. So my plan was to read, to get caught up with Jujutsu Kaisen, starting with volume 12. So I would read to volume 19, like in the morning. Like just read 4 volumes tomorrow morning, read 4 volumes Sunday morning, and then continue on with Texaco or now something else. But I'm also highly tempted to continue on with My Hero Academia as well. So starting with volume 18. And then going beyond. Because I have just now got caught up with My Hero Academia, as I have with Jujutsu Kaisen. I have all 34 volumes that are currently out. So I don't know, but I'm also thinking, so I could do maybe 8 volumes tomorrow, and then a good chunk of My Hero on Sunday, or I might just do just focus on Jujutsu Kaisen and then come back to My Hero Academia in July. I don't quite know. You'll find out next week what I decide. I'll figure it out this weekend. So my other option for the afternoon reading is to do some poetry. So maybe after Callimachus by Stephanie Burt, which I got a month or so ago from University of Princeton, or Head Off and Split by Nikky Finney, which I got last month and I didn't quite get on with when I first had to go at it, but maybe if I have a bit longer time to read it, or if I'm okay with doing it over 2 days, maybe it would work a bit better. But I'm also seriously contemplating taking some time to rearrange my collection. Because when I took down the ton of manga that I talked about earlier in my Reading Year So Far manga edition, I noticed that I'm not entirely happy with where I have my manga. So far, my manga is on my headboard bookcase and the wall shelf above it, as well as a wall shelf over here and this bookcase here. But I'm not entirely happy with where they are. I've been contemplating moving my manga over to the history wall and letting that be the manga wall, and then moving the history wall over here. But I don't know. I need to think about that. So that's another option. So over the course of the work week, I have 3 possibilities. I'm going to start with The Line of Beauty by Alan Hollinghurst. This is a novel set in the 80s about a young gay man who gets involved with a politically prominent family as sort of, I guess, their pet gay or something. I've been meaning to read this novel for the better part of 20 years, so it's well past time I get to it. But if that ends up failing, I'll also have goes at The First Kingdom by Max Adams. And maybe Shotguns and Stagecoaches by John Boessenecker. So, yeah. And then on Monday, I will do an original tag because it'll be about taste. Because I'm really struggling with taste and how people have different tastes. So I'm going to, over tonight and the weekend, I'm going to work on the questions. And then on Monday, for sure, I will do that tag because I think Mondays really ought to be original tag Monday so that people can do the tags on Tuesday. And then on Tuesday, I'll do a regular tag or another tag, maybe some tag necromancy. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I don't know. Friday, the early video, I don't know. Wait and see. And then on, of course, next Friday evening will be weekly reads. So anyway, BookTube, until I see you next week, thank you. Have a great evening and weekend, and stay safe. And if you live in the United States, and particularly the southern United States, try to stay cool because it's going to be a scorcher the next few days. So until next time, yeah, bye.